like I said, I just saw part of the stream when I tuned in. I mean, basically, you were saying you were gonna kick his ass, pretty much.
Well, he
Um,
was calling me a little girl, and I don't know if someone calls you a little girl, how do you respond to that? You're a little girl too? No, it's just call me a little girl to my face. You wouldn't do it, so this isn't a real discussion. Anyhow, that's what he tried to make the whole thing about instead of dealing with his material misstatements about, oh, I read 2 chapters of Culture of Critique and had a PTSD attack. I don't have PTSD. I was never in direct combat. The worst I ever had to do was run to a bunker when there were rockets or mortars. So the guy is he's a little immature kid. It's okay. He's going to mature into a man at some point.
I did see a tweet or not a tweet, but a gab, whatever they call it over there. I mean, I laughed because I thought it was funny. You said that you were gonna fly out and pay him a little visit. I'm assuming that was in jest, and that you're not really gonna fly out. I mean, I wouldn't like his chances in a physical physical confrontation with you.
I would like to just say hello to him and see if he'll say that stuff to my face, preferably in front of a camera. And when he runs off, instead of calling me a little girl to my face, that's all I need to show. But then again, people have reminded me the kid's like 19 or 20, and he's an irony bro where he's skeptical of everything. He tears down everyone who names the Jew publicly, and his whole argument doesn't even make sense. I went back and listened to that stream again. Literally, you have to win for him to support you, which is like, I won't bet on a horse until after it comes in first, like in the race that I'm betting on. I mean, he doesn't have arguments. It's very easy to criticize everyone, but he has no ideas that he has no arguments that he actually defends. The easiest position to take if you just want to appear to win is none. And he's a kid, so I realized that a lot of my supporters were very pissed off by what he had done, especially him laughing with the "fucks the troop" stuff, which was obviously, I don't think he actually believed it when he was laughing along with that. I think it was just a way of him trying to get under my skin. And people said, "Dude, this kid just gets everyone's goat." He did the same thing to who was the other candidate? Augustus, and he did the same. I think he did the round face kid. Who's the kid that looks like a lollipop? The host. What was his name? Anyhow, yeah, same thing. He did the same thing to Cantwell. So I'm just like, okay, so these people just try and tear down anyone that actually goes out and tries to do something. And it's very easy not to have any positions. And it's very easy just to spend your whole time heckling and trying to get under people's skin. So I had thought going into that when he was coming on that he actually had ideas and stuff he wanted to defend. And then I realized I was dealing with someone that went to a leadership seminar and thinks now that he's some sort of leader. I've been to one of those things too. It's basically for corporate people and teenagers that need like some sort of like find themselves type thing. Yeah, I went to the same thing when I was like 17. I've been to one of those things. It's like what's the name of that guy with the big buck teeth? Tony Robbins. Yeah, I mean, I understand he's got Tony Robbins credentials, but he is a kid, and ultimately, me saying, "Hey, you're calling me a little girl," say it to my face so that I can challenge you to a fight. That isn't productive when you're dealing with a teenager. And
Yeah, that
I
was
am
kind of
running
what
for
I
Senate.
said. Like, I don't have
Yeah.
any history with you or anything, but I just said I turned it on midstream, and you were pretty
Well,
much
let me
saying
give
you're
you a
gonna
little
kick his
context
ass.
here.
I,
So
it
someone's
wasn't a
giving you shit
slam
and
on
just
you. I
coming.
was just saying like it was kind of a
No, I get it.
yeah.
But just a little bit of context for you here. I get about 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. I go to things by myself, no body armor, no weapons. I get attacked sometimes. And by the way, I didn't go kick some Jew's ass. Some guy attacked me twice before I responded, and even then, I just repelled the attack and then hovered over him with my fist raised in a threatening manner, saying, "I will defend myself." Like, that's another thing. I mean, I didn't have time to take notes on the thing, but everything he said was bullshit or context denial. And I realized his job is to try and egg people on and show that he can get people to lose his cool, which someone who's having his family's life threatened anonymously. And since I have some of the IPs, by the way, the FBI is going to get a very good envelope full of stuff if I can find the time of different people that have threatened me and my family. And when my whole apartment complex that I live in is being flyered saying that I'm some sort of dangerous psychopath, it's and then you think someone's got real arguments, and I thought he was a conservative like Paleocon or something. I didn't know his whole deal. I don't have time to watch podcasts and stuff other than Dr. Duke. Um, I was expecting a real argument, and when he just started calling me a little girl and saying, "Well, you're nobody unless you come in first," I'm just like, "Who are you?" And then he's like, "Oh, I'm getting under his skin." And him and Lollipop decided to start doing the whole fuck the troops thing. I just said, fuck this, I'm out. I don't have time for this. If you could look at my email, I've got people from all over the country trying to get me to come out to speak. I've got people that want me to set up partnerships with different types of things with their activist groups. I mean, I have like 3 different groups that want me to come speak this weekend, and I had to pick one. There were like 4 weeks where I guess you would send me an email. There were like 4 weeks before I had an assistant that I had fallen behind on emails. I was able to answer about 5 or 10% of the emails a day. Like, I don't have time for the irony bro shit or the skeptics. And when you're a little bit when you're worn thin on people threatening you and your family, and just constant slanderous attacks from the media, like, do you know what I was doing before that stream? I went on just because my assistant said this guy gets a lot of views and he's funny. I'm like, oh, cool, okay. He played me like 5 minutes of being really funny. I'm like, oh, this Beardson guy seems funny as hell. Yeah, I'll go on there. I'll get a little comic relief and relax and maybe give an interview. And it's just, it was what it was. And I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not
I did mention that it probably
stuff.
wasn't necessarily the best idea
Well,
to
I
go.
thought I was going on for comic relief or something. I did this one thing, this podcast with these guys in Florida, where I thought it was like comic relief. But when I have people basically trying to get me swatted, and people, I'm not going to go into all the little fuck games because you'll think it'll sound crazy to you, but yeah, I just didn't have time for him or energy for that, and I thought he was going to come on with real arguments. And I gave him, I guess, exactly what he wanted, which was me getting really pissed off. And it wasn't a serious debate or conversation. They're conservatives and American nationalists, and they're saying fuck the troops. I mean, obviously they're just trying to fuck with you. So I don't deal with people that don't deal with facts. I don't deal with people that intentionally misconstrue information. I get enough from that with the mainstream media. Now, I don't know if you saw the thing with MSNBC where they chopped up a bunch of my sentences and tried to make it look like one sentence, where like it cuts between like the different sentence fragments that they tried to make it look like.
I think Nick, was that what he was referring to in the segment you guys did?
To be honest, I have no idea what he was referring to, because he said I read culture critique and quit my job because I had PTSD. I mean, the dude's what do you call it? A heckler. I mean, so whatever. I didn't know what he was when I decided to stream with him. I thought he was a serious like paleo conservative. I wanted to challenge his precepts and stuff, but all he wanted to say, "You lost." And
yeah, let me ask about that. So I guess his major point was, you only got 1.6% and you didn't win. Basically, you didn't place, high enough for his taste or whatever. What do you say to that criticism?
Well, this is very much like the arguments that Jews use, where you're either a communist or you're a capitalist. Nothing in between. It's like either you win or you lose. Like, and he did like this false dichotomy thing where he was saying that Ron Paul was worthless because there's no such thing as an educational candidate. My goal when I was running was to win and wake people up, and I definitely achieved one of those. I have dozens of candidates that I'm vetting right now to back for 2020 runs. So there are going to be dozens of me in this next election cycle in 2020. And as I said the whole time, I don't want a fan club. I want people to do what I'm doing. So mission's accomplished for me. Primary objective was winning, but I had a whole bunch of secondary, tertiary objectives and stuff. So
for the record, who is Lollipop?
What was the dude's name? I don't remember his name. The guy with the ridiculously round head.
Okay.
The host of the stream I was on, where Fuentes came on. I don't have time to keep track of all these podcasts.
Okay.
Anyhow, but yeah, I mean, I've already given my response to this. Like, I'm not going to debate Halsey again either, because the response is like, I know you are, but what am I? It's just like, I don't care what you say. I'm going to say my next talking point that's an insult. So I mean, it's a waste of my time. I only came on here to address line by line the items that were false, and so. I mean, you can go through all the hammer blows that they tried to deliver right here that were context denial or material misstatements of the fact. But nothing. I mean, if you want, I can go through and do a video response when I find the time of all of the stuff in there and how it's true and the proof. But I mean, that's fine. I don't have time for people that just want to attack with no merit behind the attacks, or where they're just making stuff up or not giving responses to any of the things you say. So, I mean, if they're trying to elicit emotional responses, well, why don't they just go out and like tease a kid or pull the wings off a fly or just go out and call someone names in public. So I don't have time
Spank
for
fat kids with towels to get them to run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've got better uses of my time, and clearing up some misstatements of fact the other night was one of the things I did have time for. But I don't have time for irony.
I mean, I guess the reason I was saying, I was thinking maybe you guys could like come to some kind of understanding, or
I attempted that the other night when I thought he was actually someone that had something of substance to say. But all he wants to do is just try and get under your skin, and that's a Halsey tactic. That's a Jewish tactic. I mean, look at the other things he did, where the lollipop was on the other night, and he's like, "Oh, he thinks he's a hero and all that." No, fuck that. That's if you've read the Culture of Critique, if you've read the Authoritarian Personality, these are Jewish critiques of people that are standing up to what they see as an injustice.
All right. Somebody said, Ralph, you're trying. Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, I would. Yeah. Anyway, I like good programming. I think we've had a good show anyway. But let me read some of these super chats. Elderly queer gentleman said, finished 12th, vape, lisp, beta, fuck you. I believe that was a negative comment. The Goyim no just gave $2 and didn't say anything. Prince Hubris, I think that is who you're referring to as Lollipop. He said every Marine is gay, no exception. Fuck the troops. And then the Weekly Sweat, who I believe is Beardson, he's the other host of the Weekly Sweat, said fuck the troops. Patrick Little is stealing valor. That's what they said in the super chat. So
yeah, do you know what stolen valor is?
Yes,
stolen
I
valor
do.
That's when you claim you've seen combat when you haven't, or when you claim that you've served when you haven't. I mean, so where have I go out and point a single time where they claim that I'm saying the stuff that I've said? I've never once said it. I mean, so that's once again a Jewish tactic. Look at what MSNBC does to me. Look at what are the other Jewish outlets I've done? Hello? Here, one sec.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
Must have stepped out, but yeah.
By the way,
MSNBC, CNN, or not CNN. Who else have I done? ABC, NBC. They all do the same fucking thing, and it's just manipulate what you say or take sentence fragments. And I don't deal with people that intentionally misrepresent things. I never once said that I saw direct combat. Never once.
Nick, by the way, Nick, he's still in the chat. He said, if Trump and Kim could do it, so could we. The
only thing is, if Kim went into a meeting with Trump at face-to-face where he basically is like, oh, we're going to launch attacks on your bases in South Korea or something, Trump wouldn't just say, oh, okay, I'm not going to get angry. Oh, fuck that.
I mean, they did say some pretty nasty stuff about each other, though, to be fair. Like, really nasty.
But ultimately, it was two people that would be held responsible for their actions, whereas when you're dealing with a skeptic, all they're going to do is irony bro you and criticize anything you've done, regardless of whether or not they actually think what you've done is bad. So.
He's saying he's seeking a peace summit. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh, shit. No. He calls anyone who names the Jew bad optics and stuff, and he has no actual solutions, and all he does is tear people down. And I don't have time for that, because that's Halsey type shit.
All right. Couple more.
So we could clear up stuff here. I mean, look at the attacks that they used on me, saying I thought I was a hero. That's, if you read the Authoritarian Personality, that's exactly the type of shit that Jews use on you. Misrepresenting information and intentionally misconstruing it, intentionally taking things out of context, trying to put words in your mouth. These are not arguments or debates. This is fucking irony bro shit. It's skeptic stuff. It's Jewish tactics.
Is it jujitsu, I guess, as you said earlier. So
jujitsu was when you do what I did in front of Twitter and let a Jew brag about some fantastical gassings of his family that they somehow survived to reproduce and beat him with. I mean, that's jiu-jitsu, when you take a Jew's inertia and use it against him and let him dig a huge hole and then say, okay, what about the hole tomorrow? That's jiu-jitsu.
All right, a couple more super chats. Politically Incorrect says Fuentes will get his ass beat. Day.
Well, I dare him to go up to any Marine and call them a little girl or say they're being a little girl. He would never do it to their face. And that's the thing, when you're having a debate with someone and you're behind several thousand miles of distance, it's easy to say anything. Now, whether or not he would do it in real life, that's another thing. And, maybe I'll run into him at some point. maybe he'll say that stuff to my face. But ultimately, until he's willing to do that, I don't have someone that's just going to sit there insulting me without any substance to their arguments. It's like talking to a kindergartner. I know you are, but what am I? You don't get a real response, and they're just trying to get a rise out of you. So I don't have time for that. He's a comedian.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, I just want to do it because
I don't see him using these tactics on Jews or people on the left or Marxists and stuff. I see him going after Cantwell, after Nayland, after me. So at some point, you got to ask what the hell his motivations are. And I think it's just like skeptic type stuff. It's the closest thing I can find is the skeptic community. So I think he'll be well at home with them